Since this one is about dogs and cats today, what is a cat's favorite song? For Elise, of course. And what is a dog's favorite song? Who let the dogs out? Anyways, stick around till the end of the video and I'll tell you interesting fact about a cat and a dog for you. So, two things I thought you should know. But right now, we're going to take a look. I'm dog sitting today for some friends. And here's my good pal Salsa. Hi, Salsa. Hi, honey. She loves me. She's a good dog, huh, Salsa? And she likes McDonald's French fries. And there's Allie. Allie, where you going? Oh, what are you getting? There's Allie. And they are pals, huh? Huh. Hi. Yeah, I've been watching them the past couple of days, and they're really awesome. So, thought I'd do a quick video. It got me thinking about our pets, right? And of course, everybody knows, every pet owner knows pretty much that. I'll be back, so hold on, okay? That dogs pretty much are man's best friend, and obviously woman's too. And sorry, let me get situated here. And that they basically came, they evolved from wolves, right? From wolves for the most part. Of course, you've got here we go. Of course, you got wild dingoes and things like that too. But of course, even the dingo, from what I understand, I'm not a dog expert, but from what I understand, they are all dogs, wild dogs, dingoes. They all pretty well came from the wolf, and cats, obviously. Yeah, I don't even know that whole deal. That's crazy, right? Because you got big cats like your lions and obviously your tigers and things like that. And you got your little domesticated cats. I actually need to do some research on that. Probably should have come a little more prepared. Of course, we know in Egyptian culture they were really revered. Cats were really revered. They would even wrap them in, like they did when they mummified people and wrapped them in the cloth and everything. They do the same thing for cats. They were huge in Egyptian culture. Um, of course, if you live back in medieval times and you lived in a castle or a large farm, something of that nature, of course, on ships, you had to have cats to kill the mice and the rats, mainly the rats, or you'd be in some serious trouble really, really quick with that stuff, right? But yeah, it's kind of interesting to me to know, really, the origin of the smaller um, cats that were, what's the word I'm looking for? To where they were tamed, more or less. But so, anyways, growing up, I had several dogs, everything from little Labradors to big pit bulls to all kinds of things. Um, in my opinion, I think the all around for me, my experience. So for me, let's put it that way. For me, the best dogs have been um, any kind of bird dog, or Labrador type. Not even Labrador, I mean, of course Labs, but uh, Labs number one for me, and then you know any kind of bird dog, or uh, then you've got Australian shepherds, and um, uh, oh, cocker spaniels are a couple of good ones. Hound dogs, if they're trained right. Um, Beagles, little beagles are good, but I just think personally, for being around children, for being obedient, for being smart, all of those things, labs. Of course, German shepherds are pretty popular for that. That's why they're trained as police dogs and stuff like that. Of course, for uh, um, famous dogs, right? Um, you got Balto, and you got Toto, Lassie, of course. Uh, but I googled real quick, like, who would be considered the most famous dog, and believe it or not, it's like well, obviously because Toto and was whatever was fictional, but would be uh, hit, 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 I can't think of how you say his name now, but the one that they made, Hitachi, or Hitachi, something similar to that. He's the one that they done the movie on with Richard Gere and everything, and he was a loyal dog that waited by the train station every day for his master for 10 years or whatever. They got a statue of him and everything. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm just tongue tied and can't think of these names right now. But cats, to me, I've had a few cats, and I certainly don't discriminate, or I don't mind cats. I'm just more of a dog guy. Cats are a little harder to connect with. They're a little harder to train. They're a little more sketchy, a little sneaky by nature. They're just totally different than dogs. Not that I have any issue with cats, but I'm definitely more of a dog guy. And you can see why they say, dog is man's best friend, not cat, right? There's certainly a reason for that. But we all love them. We love them like family. As you can see earlier, when I started making these videos, I had a dog that I had for over 10 years, Raphael, and I had to put him down. And then, of course, that's always painful, you know, painful situation. And even now, and let's see, this would have been back in, what was it? Jeez, now I'm trying to think, man. It's only been, we're in July. It might have been, was it March, April, when I put him down. But I literally, I still miss him. And then, like, when I'll be out to the spot where me and Buster still go to today, and every now and then I'll be loading Buster up, and I'll be turning to look to call for Raph or whatever. I still do that occasionally. There's been a few times, especially with the shadows, when it's late at night and the TV's on and the other lights are out and you're getting tired or whatever. But there was one time a few nights ago that I literally thought he was right. I thought he was right there. And out of the corner of my eye, and I was literally like turning and getting ready to say something to him. And of course, it was just my mind playing tricks on me, and I called my daughter's dog Kronk today when I was letting him out. I said, "Come on, Raph." I called him Raph. So, anyways, they're like members of the family. You teach them tricks, you cuddle with them, you love them, you spend time with them. I don't need to tell any of you pet owners, you know, how the ball bounces on that. Y'all know how much they mean to us, and but I just wanted to take a minute to recognize that fact today and talk a little bit about that. And so the two quick things that I'll share with you is um, uh, for for cats. This was news to me. I didn't really realize this. I always thought that when a cat purrs, when a cat purrs, I was always told that is because they're happy and they're like notice when you're petting a cat, sometimes they're real relaxed or they do purr a lot. And that is true. They obviously do purr when they're happy, but that's not always the case. They can purr if they are stressed or confused and things like that. They in some kind of distress. So I guess there's a good kind of purr and a bad kind. I'm not really entirely sure how you dictate between the two. And then with a dog, the thing is when you're especially when you're training a dog, but people can get confused, and I've been guilty of this in the past and stuff, where you think your dog is being stubborn, right? You're like, why isn't he listening, and doing what I'm, telling him to do? He's being stubborn, you know. They don't understand stubborn. So for a dog, it isn't that they're trying to be stubborn so much as they're just confused by something. Something's confusing them at the moment, and that can be confusing to you too, because especially if it's something that you've been done with your dog multiple times, or an instruction you've given him, or but anyways his behavior is being weird, and you're like, hey, quit being stubborn. Stop and realize that they don't understand stubborn, and that whatever's going on for whatever reason, be patient with them because they're confused. So, anyways, shout out to all the animals and animal lovers out there, and they are a blessing, that's for sure. Especially, there's some uh, couples that can't have, and single people that can't have kids or whatever, so they wind up getting pets and treating them like family, like children. You know, I think that's pretty cool. So, anyways, I'm gonna wrap up. Hope you appreciated the video, and if so, give me a thumbs up, please, and subscribe would be even better. This is Still Standing Somehow. I'm Brandon, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.